20 years later, the methodologies, the questions that we can ask on so many different levels.
I've been diagnosed with prostate cancer. My diagnosis was so bad that it was, they weren't giving me any chance whatsoever.
My diagnosis was kidney cancer, finding out that you may want to get your affairs in order.
I first found out about the study when my oncologist gave me a pamphlet. He said, here's something that might be able to help you with the anxiety. And I was accepted into the study.
The most important thing is to remember that you're always safe, and a recommendation is that whatever is coming up, that you allow it, that you don't have to like it, but you say okay, rather than trying to run away from it. Once a volunteer is enrolled in the study, they're with us for the preparation, the psilocybin sessions, and the integration follow-ups after. I have been a guide for around 350 psilocybin sessions, and then about 1,000 of the preparatory and integration meetings.
All right.
Okay, lift your head up. It's really just about experiencing what comes up as psilocybin takes effect.
And the intense part of this journey, this world and things that matter to most people, family and all that, that wasn't even what it was about. They say anything mystical can't be explained. It's something like that. It's a feeling of such immense power that you can't even imagine. I've never felt anything like it before. It was about being in a place of infinite space and just being there.
There's an experience of positive mood, sometimes open-heartedness, love, transcendence of time and space, and then finally it's thought to be ineffable. People say, I can't describe that experience.
In my mind, I said, okay, hold it. If I give myself over to you, can you promise me that I will be in at least as strong a shape as when I entered this room? And I felt a voice that I needed to heed. Do you think I would disrespect my own handiwork? This is the voice from on high saying, do you think I would disrespect my child? And I felt so beautiful. I felt like I have never felt before. My sense of being loved, of being worthy of love, of being cared for, of being important to someone. It's huge.
Going into it. Doing beautiful.
One-third of individuals in the study said it's the single most spiritually significant experience of their lives. About 70% say it's among the 5 most personally meaningful experiences of their lives. And you say, well, so what does that mean? And initially I thought, I wonder if they don't have pretty dull lives. But people would say, when my firstborn came into this world, I'll never forget that. And life has never been the same since. or my father passed away, that was deeply moving to me. I'm different now in the world. And so, it's kind of like that.
The most glorious part was that it made me feel more comfortable with living, because you're not afraid of dying.
Frankly, I'm just a laboratory scientist, and I wasn't prepared for that.
From the memory of the transcendental state of consciousness, many people report less anxiety, less depression, less preoccupation with pain, closer interpersonal relationships, and perhaps most impressive, they claim to have a loss of the fear of death.
It recalibrates how they see death. It's been amazing hearing them talk about this idea of love. Many of them spoke about how nature itself is something like this substance called love. And having touched that, they've recalibrated it and shaped how they die differently.
The Johns Hopkins Psilocybin research team has completed or has underway a total of 9 studies, and it got the world's attention. When we finally released the results of our first experiment in a peer-reviewed scientific journal, it was very gratifying to see how the daily press responded to it.
A little bit of health news for you. A single dose of psychedelic magic mushrooms can make people with severe anxiety and depression feel better for months.
It changes the way they view themselves, other people in the world, from a single experience, not Prozac that you have to keep taking day after day.
These are not chronic drugs. And that's where most of the research and development in big pharma goes. The treatments that are being explored for psilocybin involve 1, 2, maybe 3 pills. That's it. That's not a very good business model. You can't make a lot of money that way.
The core of this mystical experience is a mystery, frankly. It's the existential mystery of what are we really doing here? What's the meaning of all this? And that is a very uplifting kind of experience to have.
As a whole, there's a sense of being part of a larger network. And somehow that's more real after a mystical experience. You feel that you really are connected in some meaningful way with every atom of the universe.
From my perspective, this core experience then forms all of the religious, ethical, and moral traditions. I mean, that is the core of love thy neighbor as thyself.